All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Soaring Highs and Crushing Lows. We got a lot to get into this episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about a guy who married conjoined twins and who's now being accused of cheating on said conjoined twins with his ex-wife. Now that is juicy, okay? That is just juicy content. We're going to dive into that. Also, Gypsy Rose, she's been up to no good. She's been up to no good, that old Gypsy Rose. We'll dive into that. We're going to get into the cast of The View. How are they famous? We're going to talk about the women's basketball tournament. That's more exciting than the men's. Talk about Phillies fans freaking out already, even though we're 4 games into the season. A lot to get into. It's going to be a long episode, guys. So tune in and relax and get ready for another episode of Soaring Highs and Crushing Lows. Now, as you know, guys, we drink Pinot Noir on this show. Let me take a sip. I love Pinot Noir. I had a Cabernet the other night. I said, this is garbage. Okay, I don't want anything but Pinot Noir. And I'll take that to the day I die. Real quick, let's start with Frank's Auto Detailing, new company that I started. And if you guys ever notice this in Northeast Philadelphia, if you do anything other than, I don't know, get a union job, work at PGW, hate your life, get married, get divorced, get your kids involved in Peanut League. If you do anything other than that, you get hated. You get hate. So I start this company. I get every jerk off. How the fuck are you going to do that? Hey, jerk offs, worry about yourself, okay? Worry about yourselves. My dream is to work for myself. My dream is to become financially self-efficient. Okay, if you want to keep going to your little boys, go to work with all your friends and have a supervisor and another supervisor and a boss and an HR team, that's great. If you want to work every day of your life just to get that coveted pension, that's great. I'd rather die. 50 cents said it. Get rich or die trying, okay? That's what I'm doing here. I'm getting rich or dying trying. People in Northeast Philadelphia, go fuck yourselves, okay? Go fuck yourselves. It's insane in Northeast Philadelphia. Anytime someone does something out of the ordinary, I'm going to do comedy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You're gay. You're gay. That's what these guys say. I don't care. I'm 33. All right? It's time to start dream chasing. And by the way, I get up to go to fucking work every goddamn day at 5 a.m. Okay? Jerk-offs. And when I get off of work, I'm sick of reffing basketball. I'm sick of reffing basketball. I started my own detailing company. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to figure it out. If that bothers you, I don't fucking know what to tell you, okay? Sorry. Talk about it on your job site tomorrow, creep. All right, that was just a rant I had to get off. Sorry about that. Start the episode off with a rant. That's never a good idea to start the show. I want to get right into women's basketball, okay? Women's basketball is 3 times more exciting than men's basketball. Think about the women's tournament. You have, Caitlin Clark, the good old American girl. You got the villain, Angel Reese, who lost last night. You got Paige Buchers. You got a lot of exciting characters. The men's, you got Frankenstein on Purdue, Zach Edey. NC State's an interesting story, but it's interesting that the women's is now more exciting than the men's. Caitlin Clark is leaving to go to the WNBA, and I think that is a big mistake because, listen, she's probably making as much money, if not more, now than she'll make in the WNBA. And by the way, I don't care who goes to the WNBA. I don't care if it's Caitlin Clark. I don't care if it's Lisa Leslie. I don't care if it's Joanna Mann. Nobody is going to a WNBA game. I'm sorry. There's no person that's going, oh, I'm excited for the New York Liberty game tonight. It's irrelevant. Women's college basketball is hot right now. Okay, it's the hottest ticket going. So if you have another year eligibility, why are you going to a league? Listen, the Jardel League got more attendance back in the day than the women's basketball tournament. So Caitlin, what are you doing? Stay in college, make the money, don't go to class. Let's be honest. We all know these kids aren't going to class. And that's fine. Make your NIL deals. Speaking of NIL deals, I was thinking about this today. NIL deals, right? Is it name, image, and likeness? The argument is this. These college students should be making money because the college is using their name, image, or likeness. And that got me thinking. As you know on this show, I am a Trumper. All right? I'm voting Trump 2024. I cannot be persuaded to go otherwise. But I noticed something. Every Harry, Dick, and Larry, every politician out there right now has a book about Donald Trump. a threat to democracy. The list goes on and on. Everyone has a book about Trump. I mean, they have no other material other than Trump. Every late night host, that the only material he has is Trump. So shouldn't Trump get an NIL deal? They're using his name, his image, and his likeness for every book. Shouldn't he get compensated? Are you kidding me? Trump has a niece, Mary Trump, who's written like 7 books about him, okay? And that's all she does is write books about her and bash her uncle. And she's made millions. I'm telling you right now, I have a niece who I love. If she ever writes a book about me, slandering me, pay up. Pay up. That's what I'll tell her. You want the money to slander me? That's great. Give me a cut. And that's how it's going to work in this family. But anyway, just kidding. I love my niece. She's fantastic. She would never do that to me, okay? Maybe she would, actually, if I ever got in politics. You never know what's going to happen with these kids. You got to appreciate them while they're young, as they say. All right. So the main topic of this podcast of tonight was going to be an interesting story. I saw on the news or on Instagram or wherever that there is a man, and I don't know what part of the country this is, I'm assuming down south, but he basically married conjoined twins. And these conjoined twins were on a Bravo show years back. And listen, that the fact that these girls, the conjoined twins, have an optimism about life, and they're math teachers and they're doing really well, hats off to them. It's really nice to see someone with that sort of deformity that can be that positive about life. And here's us idiots bitching and moaning at every chance we get. These girls are stuck at the fucking neck. And you ever want to be by yourself? Just get away from everybody? I love doing it. I call it splendid isolation. Oh, do I love it. I take some NyQuil, I get under the weighted blanket, I watch a little bit of Monk, and it's just beautiful. If you have someone's conjoined at your neck, good God, you can never get away from them. And that's a tough hand to be dealt. But anyway, they found love, by the way. If you're like me and you still haven't found love, you might be saying to yourself, my God, how big of a loser am I? The conjoined twins are married and I'm not married. But I'll tell you that to tell you this. This guy is only married one of the conjoined twins. Now, right away, like I said, I apologize. I would never make fun of someone for their deformity. I would never make fun of anyone with any disability. But I have to ask questions. Because with the conjoined twins, there is only one body, and everything works down there. So that means, let's just cut right to the chase. That means one vagina. Okay? Listen, we got to cut to the chase. It means one vagina. So, how does the sex happen? Listen, it's an uncomfortable question to ask. It's none of my business. I have to ask. I have to know how that works. There's so many questions like how, what, it's just, oh, do we have a guest coming down here? Mom? All right, guys, sorry about that. I thought one of my roommates was coming downstairs. My roommate, as you might know her, is Mom. Let's get back into it. So anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the guy that married the conjoined twins with the one vagina. So you had to just wonder, what goes on during sex? Because he only married one. Now I thought, when I originally read this story, I assumed that he married both of them. They both had found love in this guy, and they lived happily ever after. And I was like, well, that's a nice story. But now he only married the one. So does the other one get along with him? We have to know. It's just so fascinating. But anyway, I'm only telling you that story to tell you this story. This man who married the conjoined twin was previously married. And they were married in 2021. This man was divorced in 2019. He gets remarried to the conjoined twin in 2021. He has an 8-year-old daughter with the ex-wife. Okay? So, a lot of times in life, guys, I've been dumped dozens of times. And every time I get dumped, I think to myself, how? She dumped me and she's dating that fucking loser? Okay? That's what goes through my head. I say it all the time. She dumped me for this guy? Are you kidding me? I'm so much better. This is what you tell yourself in your head. In reality, I'm a drunk loser and they had every reason to dump me. But I say in my head, really? This dude, he's wearing jean shorts. You dump me for him? That's what goes through my head. You see the guy and you go, well, I'm better than him. She left me for him? This is what goes through your head. Now, how do you handle your ex-husband leaving you for conjoined twins? I mean, that is a pill. That is a jagged little pill. That is a pill that is tough to swallow. So the story goes as that. I come across a story the other day that married man of conjoined twins has to take paternity tests to determine whether he's the father. What? What? This man is sneaking around on technically two women because the sister's got to be sitting there going, I don't know what he's up to. Where has he been? But so the ex-wife is saying he's the father of this this bastard child, I guess, for lack of a better word. Now, there is another man that is also being court summoned to take a paternity test. Now, guys, I'll tell you what, this is just American theater. This is just American theater at its best. How juicy is this story? I want to follow this as it goes, okay? You're going to tell me if you're driving along in your car right now, and I told you what I just told you, you're going to sit there and tell me you're not interested? You're going to sit there and tell me you don't want to know who the father is? You're going to come on. This is riveting stuff. This is absolutely fascinating stuff. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to be mean to the girls. They're going through a lot. Shit. If this guy was fooling around on you, give me a call. I'll take you out to Applebee's. Why not? 2 for 1. That's fucked up. I'm sorry. Should not have said that one, but whatever. Here we go. We keep trucking along here. Now, as I talk about that, another story in the news, and we did a podcast on this a little bit ago, and this was the Gypsy Rose story. And if you're not familiar with Gypsy Rose, she was the woman that lured an autistic boy across state lines to the premiere of Cinderella, where she fucked him in the bathroom, later convinced him to go home and kill her mother. And it turns out that Gypsy Rose's mother was faking her illness. Gypsy Rose's mother was collecting benefits for her disabled daughter, even though the daughter wasn't disabled. The mother was abusive. The mother was awful. What she did to Gypsy Rose was atrocious. However, Gypsy Rose went along with this. And I feel like, if you're getting wheeled around in a wheelchair daily going through town and you can walk, at a certain point, stand up, bitch. You should know better. But she doesn't. She goes along with it, and then she starts chatting with this guy on Christian Mingle. Hey, listen, if you're interested in the Gypsy Rose story, there's a podcast on it a few episodes back. Go check that out. I really don't want to dive too deep into her, but if you're familiar with the Gypsy Rose story, you know that she was recently released from prison into the arms of her loving husband. That's right. If you're listening to this podcast, Gypsy Rose, who killed her mother in cold blood with her autistic boyfriend, has a husband. Also, the conjoined twins have a husband. They have wives. And I'm sitting here in my parents' basement telling you guys this story at age 33. Who's the real loser? So, Gypsy Rose gets out of jail about 4 months ago. And she automatically, overnight, becomes an internet celebrity. Okay, she's on E! She's on the red carpet. She's got all sorts of things going on. And there's that big galoof of a husband of hers. And the husband's sitting there. And Gypsy Rose, even on the red carpet, said one time, oh, believe me, his dick is so big. I'm getting so much D. Ooh, excuse me, I just farted. She goes, I'm getting so much D. And I'm just sitting like, this girl's disgusting. This girl wanted us to play the sympathy card. She got out of jail. The autistic kid who she convinced to come across state lines, have sex with her at the Cinderella premiere, then kill her mother, he's doing life in prison. We got to get this guy out of prison. Because here's why. Gypsy Rose been out of jail for about 3 or 4 months. And she's already dumped this guy. She's already divorced this guy. 4 months out of prison, she divorces the guy and wants to move on because she's got this notoriety and this fame. Meanwhile, our old boy, the autistic guy, who we love we love autistic people, we love James from Love on the Spectrum, he's rotting in a jail cell while she's on red carpets. Gypsy Rose she must be stopped, okay? I refuse to make a hero out of a woman like that. Yes, she was abused as a child by her mother. Yes, her mother lied to her. Yes, I have some sympathy for that situation. However, the autistic kid is the one losing here, okay? He's in jail for life. Gypsy Rose is already on her first divorce. She hasn't even experienced her first summer out of prison yet. And it's just not right. Maybe we will start an activist page to get her autistic ex-boyfriend out of jail. Maybe we'll do that. All right, also in the news this week, that's it for pop culture, guys. That's all I can give you. The Conjoined twins and Gypsy Rose. I feel like that's enough. Now let's move on to the news here. Unless you live under a rock, you're aware of a bridge in Maryland, in Baltimore, getting hit by a tanker truck or a barge. I don't fucking know. A barge hit the bridge. The thing collapses. And this was nuts in this country, right? Right away, everyone's going, every conspiracy theory is a nut. They jumped the gun. Oh, it's this, it's that. Dude, maybe it's just an accident, okay? Maybe they lost power and it's just a horrible, horrible accident. Maybe that's just the case. It's just funny how we jump down people's throats right away. Listen, give it 48 hours. 48 hours, if things don't make sense to you, then you can jump down the throats and start making conspiracy theories. I believe in a lot of conspiracy theories. However, this one, you watch the video and you see them lose power. You see them lose power again. And also we find out the next day that the captain of the ship had made mayday calls, mayday, 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 to the bridge commander, and they were able to stop cars from coming on the bridge. Now, doesn't that all add up to you? It all adds up to me as a terrible tragedy. That's all it is. But people are always digging these days. Everything's got to be a conspiracy. Everything's got to be something else. Dude, it was an accident. Horrible. Horrible accident. And 6 people died. How fucking terrifying does that have to be? Dropping from the bridge. I mean, that is just awful. But listen, not everything needs a fucking explanation. Not everything is a conspiracy. So relax. In Philadelphia, a truck hit an overpass on 95, and now 95 North is shut down. Is there a bigger shit show in the country than 95 in Philadelphia? I mean, seriously. It's just one thing after another. You can't even get... I don't know what it is. Let me think. Now that the Cottman exit's closed, what's the other one? Bridge, maybe Harbison? Harbison, Cottman. You can't get off after a certain point at the fucking academy. I mean, the people that live in the middle, that is just nuts, okay? Luckily for me, I get off at Academy now where I live, but I used to get off at Cottman, where I lived in Rawhurst, and that would just be a real hassle. So 95's got to figure it out. However, the truck driver that hit the bridge, I was just saying, thank God it wasn't me, okay? As you know, I drive a truck now. A lot of underpasses, I'm noticing, don't really give you that much warning. But on 95, you would think that, you would just assume that every bridge you're going to get under because of how many tractor trailers you see on there. So I don't know the full story there. It's kind of interesting. But if you're coming home on 95 North, you're fucked. Might as well throw on this podcast to have yourself a few laughs. We also had Phillies opening day recently. And I got to tell you something. I want to be a Phillies fan. I just can't get on board with the fans. I can't. You Phillies fans, okay? We're 4 games into the season. I'm listening to sports radio today. Hey, this is Bill from Fort Washington, and I tell you what, man, we have to send that pitcher down to the minors. And man, I tell you what, this coach Topper, he don't know what he's doing. And the other thing is, they're not hitting the ball. And it's like, yo, shut the fuck up. You're 4 games into the goddamn season. This is like you Phillies fans last July, right? This is you guys calling the radio, ready? I'll never forget it. I was going to the Phillies versus the Marlins down in Miami, and I had on my, I put on Philly area radio just to get a vibe for what's going on with the team. Here's the guy.
Hey man, this is George from Glen Mills, and I think the problem with this ball club is the head coach. You got to get rid of the head coach. And, man, he's terrible.
And it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If you can just keep your Phillies team, your guys' precious Phillies, I'm in the corner. Keep it at 500 by August, you're fine. Okay? If you keep it at 500 in August, you are fine. We are 4 games into the season. You guys are panicking. Relax. You're the smartest fans in baseball? Wait a second. You're the smartest fans in baseball and you're panicking at the 4th game of the season? Get over yourselves. Relax. Speaking of things in Philadelphia, Crossing Broad. Shout out to my good friend Kyle Pagan from Crossing Broad. One of the few media guys in the city that I actually like. Okay? He runs a good ship over there. A lot of the other guys, I mean, I don't think I should start bashing other Philly content creators on the air anymore. I can't fight, and I've bashed so many of them, and they've threatened to fight me, and it's just something I'm not, Maybe I should go to jiu-jitsu class. That's what they suggested to me on the Frankie Edgar podcast. By the way, if you haven't checked that out, by the way, Champ and the Tramp podcast, they put out the interview I did with them, and let me tell you something. That's a good one. Anyway, back to Crossing Broad. Kyle is putting together a spelling bee on April 13th. He's got 10 Philadelphia area content creators, and we're going to be doing a spelling bee at the Malt House in Port Richmond. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Listen, guys, I would come out Saturday, April 13th at the Malt House in Port Richmond, 12 to 4. Crossing Broad's hosting it. Miller Lite sponsoring it. $500 cash prize for the winner. We know it's not going to be me, but there's 10 contestants, and that's going to be a really good time. Again, that is April 13th at the Malt House in Port Richmond. Not to be confused with the one in Rockledge, where us Northeast scumbags frequent. It's at the it's at the Malt House in Port Richmond. That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Let's see, what else do I have here on my paper? Oh, this is interesting. I really had to get, I don't want to get political. I don't want this to be a political show, but every morning when I wake up, I need something to get me going out of bed, something to get my blood pressure pumping. And usually what does it for me is The View and Stephen Colbert. I hate them so much. They just get me so angry that I pop out of bed. I don't even need a coffee. And I'm wondering, if you guys are familiar with The View, there's this redhead lady on there, Joy Behar. I don't know what, I swear to God, how is she famous? What did she ever do? Seriously, she's just like the old grandma at the hair salon has an opinion about everything. How did she get on television? I don't understand it. I got to get on that. I mean, listen, I have to get on a show. The View is like this political radical left show. They're goofy. Why don't you have a show with me? And I'll get on there and I'll just, I'll rant and rave like this. Because they don't have, they're not smart. I think they have the one, Sonny might be a lawyer on that show. But is Whoopi Goldberg an intellect? She did Sister Act. And I'm not saying I'm an intellect. I'm saying I'm dumb as fuck. But if you're going to let Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg go on TV and say whatever the fuck they want about politics, let me on. I'll have a blast. But Whoopi Goldberg, a cop was killed in New York City by a fucking career thug who should have been out. Dude, 21 arrests, enough. I mean, after 10, we got to be like, all right, dude, figure it out or we're locking you up for the rest of your life. 21, 31-year-old cop who's married, who has a 1-year-old kid, doing a routine traffic stop, gets blasted, okay, and killed in broad daylight in New York City. And I don't think that either Trump or Biden should have showed up at the funeral. I don't think it's your place. The family's going through things. Stay the fuck out of it. But Trump goes, and Whoopi says, "Oh, he's got a lot of nerve." I can't do a Whoopi impression. She's upset that Trump went because she says that Trump, Trump didn't defend the January 6th Capitol Police. I'm like, the two aren't the same. That's a stretch. So anyway, fuck The View. If they get a TV show, I should get a TV show. Last thing I'm going to touch on too, and this is me getting radical because The Pinot Noir is starting to set in. LSU women's basketball team doesn't stand for the national anthem. What the fuck? I'm serious right now. These girls, okay, it has nothing to do with their race. They try making it a race war. Why aren't you standing for the national anthem? Do you really think that you would have it better? Do you really think that you'd be making as much money as you are playing college basketball in any other country in the world? Do you even think they let you play basketball in other countries? And by the way, real quick, I'll end the podcast on this. When in World War II, when these teenagers, most of them are 18, 22 years old, had to storm the fucking beaches of Normandy, okay? Knowing they were going to get their heads blown off. You know how scary that is? They went in there and they stormed the beaches, got their heads blown off. Literally their heads blown off. Okay, just to win that war. If they don't do that, we don't win that war, there is no women's basketball, okay? We're all speaking German. I mean, to not stand for the flag is crazy. I won't apologize for it. It's not a radical idea. Stand for the flag. You can disagree with it. You can take a kneel. Honestly, come out and take a kneel. Show yourself. Be in the locker room, fuck LSU. And I'm glad they lost. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap the episode up here. We're going to get better at doing weekly episodes. Again, I have my own company now, Frank's Mobile Detailing. And we're off to a rocky start. You know, the effort is there. The effort is definitely there. The dedication is there. I'm putting 2.5 to 3 hours into each car. The effort is there. The performance is just not. I mean, I got to get better. I got to watch more videos. I got to figure out how to do it. We're going to get better as we go, guys. So, listen, you need your car detailed. Give me a call. Frank's Mobile Detailing. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Soaring Highs and Crushing Lows. Sorry if I got off the rails there. The Pinot Noir is really strong tonight. All right, guys. Catch you next week.